The No New Friends podcast is brought to you by Sandpiper Vacations. For the best in vacation plannings, just visit www.sandpipervacations.com. Let them know that the No New Friends podcast sent you.
Broadcasting from the Sandpiper Vacation Studios. It's time for the No New Friends podcast. The podcast for adults who love to laugh at adulting. The good, the bad, and the funny.
Okay, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's showtime. It's showtime.
That's right, you're listening to the No New Friends podcast, voted number 1 by our friends and family, and number 3 by the Orlando Weekly Readers Poll. We are the podcast for adults who love to laugh at adulting. Now, if you'd like to connect with us, all of our social media links are right there on our website, nonewfriendspodcast.com. While you're there, check out our sweet merchandise and also join our clubhouse. Become a friend with benefits. That's our Patreon. And for as low as $2 a month, you can watch us record all of our episodes live as they happen. There's a bunch of other exclusive member benefits. You definitely want to check that out. Right now, we are streaming live on Twitch, segment 1. That's www.twitch.tv/NNF podcast. And remember, when you hear that secret word somewhere in the episode, email us that secret word, nnfcontests@gmail.com. You only have 7 days from the release of this episode. My name is Scott. I am the host. With me, as always, my amazing co-host, the scumbag reselling hoarder himself, Chris.
Ghost Chris.
Everybody's favorite food truck critic, Sarah.
Hello.
Our emotional support K, Nick.
It's me. I'm a gay.
And our producer, Alex.
It's me, the guy who edits the podcast.
So, guys, Christmas is upon us, and so much has happened in the last 2 days for me that I wanted to share with you.
Not all of us, Scott. That's insensitive. Sorry.
Sorry.
I
appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, you're no problem.
So, first of all, a couple weeks ago, I talked about how I was getting these lights installed. Okay. These really nice permanent LED Christmas lights. We can change the colors for different holidays. And then also up lights for my landscape because it's just
right. Your wife was getting them installed.
Correct. I mean, well, hold on. I made the call.
Right, I fact check.
I ordered. No, I did all the work on this. She paid for it, but I did all the work to make it happen.
That's fair. I'll
she did all the work for the money, but it's fine.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Now, what did we learn when I'm in charge of decisions? Only bad things happen. So these, first of all, it was supposed to be installed last week and on Tuesday or Wednesday. And the guy calls me. He's like, hey, we got to move it to Thursday. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then he calls me on Wednesday and he's like, hey, the boom lift is not available. We'll be out next Tuesday. And I'm like, Jesus, like we're really close to Christmas now. So like, let's get on it. So they come over on Tuesday and they are here from 8:30 in the morning till 5:30 at night doing the hardwired, hardscape stuff. And then these permanent LED lights on the house. Guys, it was beautiful. I came home and there's like red and white chasing lights up on my on my ceiling. It's all app enabled, so you can change the color scheme on the phone and turn them on, turn them off. So Rachel's got it set up to turn on at 5 p.m., turn off at 1 a.m. It's great. We don't have to worry about it. It's just done for us. So the next night, last night, I'm home. I'm getting ready for the lights to come on. And I decide, I'm going to go to 7-Eleven, get a Diet Coke Light Ice before we do NNF Reacts. And we walk outside and I see all the up lights on the landscape. And then I look up at the roof and only 5 lights are lit. Oh. So $7,000 for 5 lights. 5 lights.
Was it the 5th day of Hanukkah? Is that?
No, it was white and orange. Oh, yeah. The lights are celebrating Hanukkah. They're just doing an eighth of the roof at a time.
Yeah, they're little candles.
Yeah. So this is what happens when I order things. We end up going with a faulty company.
Did you order from Temu?
Yes. I did. Alibaba, actually.
Okay.
So they were supposed to come out today, haven't come out. So I'm not paying them. Until I did the deposit. I'm not paying the rest until it's done. So
we're going to pay them anyway.
Yeah. So this week has been a big week. Chris, I want to, because I feel like you're a lot like me.
Okay.
So
weight wise or
both weight wise and what I'm going to talk about. So
okay.
When do you do your Christmas shopping?
I'm hoping Monday I can start. I'm glad you brought that up.
You're like, oh, thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, Emily was like, hey, do you know next weekend's Christmas weekend? I projectile vomited. I had no idea that it was the week before Christmas. Because I'm like, I'll take care of that next week. And I have to now.
Chris, it is like once Thanksgiving is over and the food settles, I am nauseous until I, hit order on that last Amazon order because first of all, Rachel takes care of everybody else. Not only does she pay for, but she arranges everything else. She asks for a little bit of involvement from me, which I am terrible at. She'll start asking me in September, what do you want to get for your parents for Christmas? Because I don't know. I'm just not good at this stuff. And so I honestly, I just finished yesterday. That was it. And I'm surprised that I am ahead of you, but Nick, who does the Christmas shopping in your house?
I'd say you're ahead of me even. And usually the gays are like 3 months ahead of the schedule.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you've been on vacation every other week.
I've been working. It was a work trip.
Oh,
let me clear that.
It's a beautiful work trip, by the way.
And Chris use yeah. I love how you and Chris use that word working very loosely.
For IRS and tax reasons, we must.
Yeah. I mean, I had lunch at the Ritz-Carlton that day. I was very busy. We both kind of split the shopping. I feel like this year I've kind of let him kind of do more of it. He works in retail, so for us it's easier. I'm like, you're at work. If you see something that stands out, just grab it while you're there. That way we don't have to go back out. But right. Usually we kind of split the duties on it and split it up between I'll get my parents and then he gets his mom. But yeah, we're not done. We went out today, so we made effort.
So funny story. I went to, you guys know where I work. We don't really talk about it, but I went to this place yesterday that only employees can go to shop.
OnlyFans.
And
what? OnlyFans or the other job?
The other job. The other job. So I went into this place and I got a couple things. So Rachel texted me and she's like, hey, did you get it? Was there anything good at the place? And I was like, no. Meanwhile, I come home with a full bag of stuff for me that I found that I wanted just for me. Sarah, who does the shopping in your house for Christmas?
Both of us. I feel like we kind of decide. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Together.
Well, of course. Well,
50-50.
But I'm with Chris. But the thing is I kind of have to bump it up a couple days because we leave on Monday to go on vacation until Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
So I have to get it done like tomorrow or Saturday and then have it wrapped and under the 3-foot tree that I put out this year and ready for when we get back from vacation.
So is this typical where you wait till later or are you usually on it? Like what's your typical routine?
Yes, I'm a procrastinator. So pretty much always I do this. But this year, we did the trip. So it was a blanket Christmas gift, birthday gift kind of. And then I forgot we have siblings and parents and grandparents and, we should probably get them stuff. And then my coworkers started bringing me gifts and I'm like, shoot, now I got to add you to my list. What the heck?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you said you go ahead, Chris.
No, you go ahead and then I'll.
Well, no, go ahead because I'm going to.
No, you go ahead.
Guys, stop. It's okay.
Okay, I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead. I just didn't want to talk about it. I'm trying to put it off. I made a mistake this year. I made a mistake.
What'd you do?
I thought it was smart. So sat down with Emily and I said, hey, we just bought a house. We have a baby on the way. Why don't we just skip each other's gifts this year? Why don't we just not get each other's gifts this year?
That did not go over well.
And she's like, no, are you serious? Why? I said, well, because, we bought a house and we have a kid, it's a gift, right? And then she said, no, but then.
Chris, this is brilliant. Tell a hormonal pregnant lady, I'm not getting you any gifts this year for Christmas.
I thought it was a fair trade. I wouldn't get her.
I like the idea.
It's a great idea, right?
I mean, we do it now, but you're still in that newlywed phase, obviously, with the baby coming too.
Together 12 years, Nick. But a long time.
Just got married.
Together a long time. That's like a lot in married years or together years. But anyway, this didn't end after that conversation. A couple days go by and she goes, we have to talk about something. It's like, what? She said, she was like, why do you think it was a good idea to say we shouldn't get each other gifts? Why did you say that to your mom? Did you say that to your sister? It's like, well, no, I can't really just go up to him and be like, hey, let's not get each other gifts because they're going to get me one anyway. But with you, I figured I could like bargain with you. I've been sleeping on the couch for the last 3 weeks. It is, so I hope she gets me a pillow and maybe a warmer blanket. But no, it was just, I don't know. It was one of my brilliant ideas. That didn't pan out. What I want to get at this is, do you guys have a budget that you spend on your significant other?
Ooh, I should. But Rachel buys herself this year about $1,000 worth of Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
That's honestly what we're doing this year. Is like I feel like last year or the year before we tried to do like a $50 or $100 thing. Just keep it simple because, like I said, we don't need anything. We shop on Amazon every other freaking day.
Yeah.
So this year, I think we kind of just decided like you order what you want, I'll order what I want, and then you just wrap it for me.
That's brilliant.
That's a good idea.
Gifts.
But okay, this is a great idea discussing the budget and all that. We did this last year. We put a budget on ourselves. We said nothing big. And, I got her the whole, I don't need to use Google. My husband knows everything t-shirt. And she gets me a Nintendo Switch. It's right. Like, we did not follow the guidelines set for us.
Maybe she's trying to compensate for small things too.
So Sarah, you said, you got to put everything under the tree. Where are your girls with Santa? Where are we with that?
We still do Santa. So this year they're getting a trip from us, and then Santa is going to be bringing them gifts. So that's whose shopping I really have to do is Santa's.
Right. Okay.
Now, I just brought them to Santa yesterday, so I just found out what they want. So now is where I have to work on it. Naturally, half of this stuff for the older kid, you can't find anywhere. And if you want to order it on Amazon, now it's going to be here after Christmas. So we're going to have to get creative.
Yeah. So my dear, sweet youngest child, my baby, Abby, told me yesterday, Dad, I know about Santa.
Oh, no.
They gave me a little wink. It was heartbreaking. It was now she's in 6th grade, so really, like
that's a
she
good
should
age.
know.
Yes,
like my goal has always been to get to 5th grade. I feel like for all 3 kids, I did get them to 5th grade, although they know how sad I get and probably did a great job acting. I don't know. Michaela's in chat. She could tell us, how long it took her to tell me that she knew. The gig was up.
You know what, though? Our oldest is in 5th grade, and I'm wondering now, Scott, if this is a game. If she really does know, and she thinks she's going to get an extra gift from Santa. She's good. She's good like that.
So can I tell you guys something? And nobody knows this outside of my house, but Santa is still very much a real thing with my mom. Like she's still legit. Like she will get me a big gift from her and my dad, and the rest of the gifts are not signed from her and my dad. I still thank her for everything.
Well, we still do that
and there's
too.
an understanding, but Santa is still very much, and she to this day she has still never said that she is Santa or that he's not real.
So that's exactly my mom.
It's amazing. I love it.
Does Santa have different handwriting too? Still.
Santa has different wrapping paper. Like she does different wrapping paper from Santa, and then she does different wrapping paper. And on Christmas Eve, ever since I was little, and to this day, I get a gift that's left on the step. It was left at the at our store when we had a store, our jewelry store. It was left under a tree there, and whatever wrapping paper is there, Santa brought it there the night before, and that's the wrapping paper that my gifts are going to be wrapped in. On Christmas Day, and still to this day, she still does that.
That's cute.
I mean, Santa still does that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So does she think that you're still, in belief and all that? Like this, Chris, you have hear me out. You need to play this up because you'll never have to shop for your newborn.
Oh no,
she'll just come in and break
yeah.
into your place and put the presents under the tree because
I make an egregious
she doesn't want to
list.
ruin it for you.
I make an egregious list to this day, Scott. Because Santa makes his elves make all the toys. There's no price tag on the toys that they make. It's made in a little elf sweatshop. So I there's no cap on my list.
Right. So that was the first instant where Abby broke my heart yesterday. Okay. Then we're in the car and she says, Dad, let me ask you a question. And that's never good. But she says, when you were in middle school, did you text your mom that you had a girlfriend? And I'm like, sweetheart, we didn't have text messaging. We didn't have cell phones when I was in middle school. She's like, wait, what? She's like, okay. And I was like, we didn't even have pagers when I was in middle school. And I thought that would be like the end of the conversation. She's like, I could see her thinking. She goes, Dad, what's a pager? I'm like, oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So
you have to explain to her, like, it's things that you had to, pencil and a pad of paper, and like there's pages. It's not like a laptop.
Right.
Or are you talking about a beeper?
I said,
a beeper.
A beeper.
So
she says, okay, well, without a cell phone, how did you know how to get places? And I was like, well, we put the address in MapQuest and printed out MapQuest.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, what is MapQuest? And so I had explained MapQuest. And I said, and then before the internet, because I remember life before the internet, we went into gas stations. We bought road maps. And I said, here, I'll show you. We're at 7-Eleven. Let me show you the road maps. They don't sell road maps anymore. So she looks at me and she says, Dad, I knew you were old, but I didn't realize you were this old.
Oh my God.
She's like, I didn't know that I knew anybody that lived in a world that didn't have cell phones. And I'm like, oh my God.
Wow.
That's heartbreaking.
Wow. Very heartbreaking. So she hits me with I don't believe in Santa. Gosh, you're old. And by the way, I have a boyfriend. So it was a triple whammy yesterday.
That's a lot.
Great day. Great day.
I am not ready for that.
Are you guys ready for Word of the Week?
Yeah.
Yes.
Here we go. Take it away, Lord Remy.
Praise your Savior, let him speak. It's Lord Remy's Word of the Week.
That's right. You guys are listening to Remy's Roundtable. Wait a minute. Did I just say Remy's Roundtable? No. Hold up. This is the No New Friends podcast, guys. I am so sorry. I had deja vu. What I really had, I had a dream.
Nice
More
plug.
like an epiphany. That's right, guys. So the word of the week for this lovely episode is epiphany. It refers to a sudden, profound realization or insight, often leading to a new understanding or perspective. Now, here's a little history on it. The word epiphany has its roots in ancient Greek. It comes from the Greek word epiphania, meaning manifestation or appearance. In its original religious context, it referred to the manifestation of deity to a person or the sudden realization of divine presence. The term gained significance in Christian traditions to denote the feast day celebrating the manifestation of Jesus Christ to the Magi, representing the revelation of Christ to the Gentiles. This event is often referred to as the adoration of the Magi or the Three Kings. Over time, the meaning of epiphany expanded beyond religious context to encompass any sudden and profound realization in various aspects of life, not limited to spiritual experiences. Today, it is widely used to describe moments of insight or discovery in broader sense. All right, guys, so I have two jokes for you guys, all right? So, we all go out, we go buy Christmas trees, right? So, as I was paying for my Christmas tree, I was talking to the cashier, and the cashier, he asked me, are you going to put that up yourself? Man, I said, nah, I'm putting it up in the living room. And here's your last joke. Why was the snowman smiling? Man, he could see the snowblower coming down the street. And there you guys have it. That is the word of the week, and that word is epiphany.
That was really funny. That was really funny.
I like that. Well done, Remy.
This is Abby with the correct pronunciations to last week's word of the week and the words I'm learning in middle school. Yeah. Remy mispronounced extrapolate and some other words, I'm sure. But let's be honest. You were all here for me and my jokes. I bet you guys didn't realize how old my dad is. Well, his first restaurant management job was the Last Supper? Oh, Sarah, the Last Supper is the meal Jesus had before he was killed. Speaking of Romans and Jews, my dad showed me his birth certificate, and I had to ask him why his date of birth was a bunch of the letter I, V, M, C, and L. When my dad was teaching me about religion, he showed me his Bible, which happened to be signed by Jesus himself. And finally, my dad was trying to help me with my history homework. He was shocked that I had a history book to study. When he was in school, he just wrote down the stuff as it happened. So, this week's middle school word of the week is chat. Chat doesn't really mean anything. No one really knows what it means. Kind of like travels and tribulations. Here's a sentence. Chat. Is this real? I mostly use it to replace someone's boring name. So like, I would say, chat, do you have any Cliff Notes? That's all for me. Slay Queens!
She's such a talented writer.
Her delivery is so good.
I know.
Chat.
She says that word literally nonstop. And I'm like, what does it mean? And she's like, I don't know. I just use it to replace people's names. And she actually wrote that last line. She's like, yeah, make sure you put that I use it to replace people's boring names. And as soon as she said that, I was like, oh, chat, do you have any Cliff Notes? It was perfect. And then her explaining to Sarah what the Last Supper was. That was surprising.
Yes, thank you.
All right, you're listening to the No New Friends podcast. And when we come back, travels, tribulations, Jersey man, Florida man, so much more.
There are 3 things that I hate in life: taxes, nausea, and booking vacations. The first 2 I'm stuck with, but for the third, I use Sandpiper Vacations. Sandpiper Vacations is a small business that is LGBTQ+ owned and operated with travel advisors all over the country. Whether it's a cruise, a trip to a theme park, or an all-inclusive resort, Sandpiper has you covered. Oh, and I forgot to mention, it's free. Why book a vacation when you can have someone else do it for you? That's like choosing to take the stairs in a building that has an elevator. Leave the headaches of booking a vacation to someone else. Get your quote today at www.sandpipervacations.com and tell them that the No New Friends podcast sent you.
Hey there, Scott here. You all know I like to spend time wandering the neighborhood on my big wheels or hanging out at the park with my fedora and my Bud Light. So I don't have time to clean my own house. That's why I've been using I Believe services for the past 6-7 years, and they're the best in commercial and residential cleaning. They're also doing carpet shampooing at such a reasonable price. Just check them out. That's ibelieveservices.us. Give them a call, 407-928-4595, and tell them that the No New Friends podcast sent you.
Hey guys, comedian James John, and you are listening to the No New Friends podcast.
Welcome back to the No New Friends podcast. As always, if you listen to us on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere that allows you to leave a rating and review, please give us a 5-star rating. Leave us a review. It really helps us out. Also, follow us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Chris is pumping out shorts. I don't have a clever joke, but he's pumping out a lot of shorts every day, and they're really funny. And please like them, subscribe, share them, comment. We love that kind of stuff. It really helps us out. Do any of you have any reviews pulled up handy? I don't know who to turn to anymore. Oh, Nick.
I have one. I'm
fantastic.
back.
You're back. Yes.
Yeah, I'm back.
It's very confusing times last week.
I listened to it. It was a little rough sometimes, but I'm back. So this one just came in actually about 10 minutes ago. It is a 5-star. So thank you. From Gay Master Ryan. But he says incredible.
Oh, very, very nice. Okay.
One word.
Very nice.
Yeah, that was a good one. So thank you very much, Gay Master
Yes.
Ryan.
Gay Master
That's my
Ryan.
favorite so far.
All right, let's see what's up with the sophisticated gentleman on Travels and Tribulations.
Alrighty, where am I now? Oh, the little farmhouse over there. This is really nice. Hold on a sec. This looks like the set of White Christmas. Strange. At least I've gotten my holidays sorted out, but this is definitely not what I want as well. Maybe I accidentally turned the fiction setting on. Well, let's see what we've got around here. I know this is one of Scott's favorite Christmas movies. What's that noise over there? Oh, shut up, Scott. No one wants to hear about your stupid racist team again. Jeez. Maybe if you stopped whining about FSU not being included in the Final Four so much, then you could actually produce a show that has more than just commentary around pre-recorded segments. Alright, let's see what Remy's up to. It looks like he's hanging out at this farmhouse as well. Hey, Remy, what you cooking over there?
Cooking some thick pork loin.
Remy, did you just glitch? Is the film skipping or something? Wait a minute. He pronounced the letter K a bunch of times. Oh no. He's trying to send me a coded message. Scott's over there in the corner. He's taking the term White Christmas literally. Oh boy. I for one, don't want to be associated with a hate group. I've got to get out of here. Alrighty, where am I now? Oh, it looks like it's the Charlie Brown Christmas. That's nice. I still completely forgot to turn off that fiction setting, though. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, there's Chris playing with some kids. Looks like Chris just slipped and fell on the ice. Alright, now looks like Chris is just sobbing uncontrollably. Now Chris has tripped over Snoopy. This is incredibly depressing. It is worth noting, though, that none of the kids here have gone ahead and swallowed any jet fuel or Slinky or a pound of black tar heroin. Interesting. Seems like that's not something kids typically do. Oh boy, what's that noise from over there? I don't remember that from the movie. Oh great, Scott's here with another mom. This time though, instead of those pillowcases, they've got armbands on. Kind of weird. Also connects to that cut joke that I made in the first portion of this segment today. And if you want to know what my cut jokes are, you can join the Sophisticated Gentleman's Patreon for as low as $2 a month, and I'll just tell you what jokes I decided to cut out of the show. Also, my secret word of the week is uneducated. You can go ahead and email that to nonewfriendsryan@gmail.com. I'm getting out of here. Looks like I'm in a mall now. I usually wouldn't go to a mall during Christmas time, but looks like I still got the fiction setting on. Clark Griswold's over there right now. It's ridiculous. If I keep using the fiction setting, next thing I know, I'm going to be in a Bible story. Looks like Clark is talking to that woman over there. It's actually a pretty uncomfortable conversation. It gets less funny the more it goes on. Kind of like Mary, how she got less funny the entire time that she was on No New Friends. Oh lord, do I hear another mob coming this way?
Nick's on the mic, so it's time to take notice. And if you don't like it, that's homophobic. Stay the hell out of his way. Move, I'm gay.
While Nick cuts in here, I'm gonna try to work some more on this time machine. Got it set for Christmas. Now I'm gonna set it off of the fiction setting. I'll call you guys again next week, and maybe finally I can go back in time and save Santa Claus. Why does Scott kind of look like the type of guy who would give people a fruitcake?
All right. Thank you so much, Sophisticated Gentleman. That was great. Okay. So, Sarah, what's going on? First of all, we didn't record last night because you had a Christmas party. Didn't know you celebrated Christmas, so that's exciting.
Yes. No, but apparently the workplace only celebrates Christmas, so therefore I have to attend something.
But the reel that you guys put up of you and Lewis looking very suave, dapper, you in that gorgeous dress, that little 360 deal thing, that was really cool. There was something you wanted to talk about though, something that made you mad.
Yes. Well, what do we say? We're victims of circumstance around here, you know?
Well, we don't say that, but, sure.
Well, that happened to me. Lewis actually had his Christmas party on Sunday. So he's on his way home from work. I'm at home. I'm getting ready. You know, as we do. I got the music blaring. I'm having a great time. I hear a knock on the door. I call Lewis and I say, hey, where are you at? Are you like at the door? Your hands full? Like, what's going on? He said, no, I'm not there yet. So I'm right around the corner. Okay. So then the doorbell starts ringing. I said, okay, somebody's really trying to get our attention. What is going on here? So I'm still on the phone with him and I'm telling him what's going on. He said, just don't open the door. I've got a wreath over my peephole on the door so I can't see out. I don't know who's there and I'm not expecting anybody. So I was like, I'm just not going to answer the door. So he says, I'll be there in 2 minutes. Let me call you back. Okay, sounds good. 5 minutes later, calls me. Hey, your car is on a tow truck on its way out of the apartment complex.
No.
The party was in like 3 hours. So he whips it around really fast and he's following my car out of the apartment complex. I have a very nosy neighbor. He's like neighborhood watch, I feel like. And I
thought the Jews were nosy.
Well, listen, we still are. I think it was him that came upstairs to try and warn me what was going on, because he's that guy who's always outside with a beer in his hand, just watching what's going on.
Yeah, Cousin Eddie.
Yeah, exactly. So Lewis is following this tow truck wherever it's going, and he's trying to get this guy's attention. He's calling him, what the heck is going on? So the guy says, well, it's an expired tag. Well, I know for a fact that my registration is not up until next month. It's my birthday next month. Lewis and I bought the car at the end of 2022, and we made sure to check to make sure, because I was like, dang, that's really going to suck that we have to re-register it in a couple months. And it was registered through 2024. Fantastic. So I'm like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. So I go through it all.
I've never heard of them, though. Sorry, I've never heard of them towing a car for an expired tag.
I was so confused. So basically, he gets to the tow yard and they're giving him crap. They don't want to give him the car back. So we have to pay $150 if we want the car back. So I'm over here on the DMV website. I don't have my physical registration because they have my car. So I'm trying to figure out how I can prove that my registration is up to date. So I go on the DMV website. I am not with the car, obviously. Lewis is the only one there. I'm sending him pictures, screenshots. Can you please show it to them? I'm good. I don't know what happened. You know, sometimes they tell you that when you get those stickers for your license plate that you should like cut through them so that people can't steal them. I don't know if you've ever heard that before.
Yeah, because people will do that.
So I'm thinking to myself, some asshole went and stole my sticker. Like, I live in a huge apartment complex.
Right.
So I end up calling my amazing sister-in-law. She saves me. She brings me to the tow yard. Lewis and I are heated. Oh, we are angry. We were wanting to fight this guy. I'm telling him, hey, listen, if I'd gotten pulled over for the same thing and I had presented my registration, they probably would have said, hey, you're good to go. You know, listen, but get it fixed.
Mm-hmm.
You need to go get it fixed, because this is same thing with the brake light. How am I supposed to know? I'm not looking at the ass end of my car. If you're not pulling me over to tell me what's going on, I don't know. So I'm livid, shaking, angry. We're kind of laying in on this guy a little bit. Pay the $150 because he says, listen, I got a call, so you can get your car now or you can get it tomorrow. Like, I don't know what to tell you. So you're going to pay it now and get it, or you're going to pay more tomorrow to get it. It's up to you. So of course, you know, the Jew in me comes out. I need my car. So I'm going to pay the lower amount. And $150 later, I get the car and we get home and I am seething. Lewis looks in a small stack of mail from January of 2023, mind you, almost a year ago. And guess what's there? My sticker. So apparently, I have been driving around in my vehicle for almost an entire year with, listen, you guys know that I'm a habitual, you know. So I don't like when cops are sitting behind me. So I know, sure enough, that I was like, I would have gotten pulled over by now. It's been almost a year. Nope. I laid in on the poor tow truck driver. I'm giving everybody hell. And it turns out it was sitting in my mail the whole time. So $150 later and 2 hours before the Christmas party. And then yesterday, 2 hours before my Christmas party, we go out to the car. My tire's flat. It is so flat. Yes. So the spare went on it yesterday. Got it fixed today. So holiday parties, I don't know what's going on this week.
You may want to check your kids real quick to make sure they didn't swallow a screwdriver, because these stories are awfully similar. Are you going to be a medical professional now?
Well, I might as well claim to be.
We're going hell.
Okay, you could be Jewish and you just don't have to believe in it. It's fine. You know, we don't believe in that. The worse you are as a person, the farther away from God you are. So you're still up there somewhere.
Perfect.
Just go with that. Those are the moments I claim to be Jewish. It's fine.
Oh my goodness.
Nick's on the mic, so it's time to take notice. And if you don't like it, that's homophobic. Stay the hell out of his way. Move, I'm gay.
All right, so move out of the way. I have stories to tell because I was not here last week. Nobody really said much about me on the show last week.
I wrote you a whole poem.
Yeah, there was a whole poem about you.
You have to subscribe to Patreon. That's on the cutting room floor. I'm sorry.
and
I missed that part.
Nick, last week was the one episode that we gave to the Jew.
Jesus, thanks.
We did a whole second episode of the week
I was
about the
celebrating gays. Celebrating the Polynesian culture.
You did in fact send a picture of a menorah,
and I sent her a picture. There was a menorah at the hotel I was staying at. So, and they have a menorah lighting every single night. Well, 8 nights in a row. And then after that, I don't know what they do with it. So
goes back in the box.
I left.
They're like at midnight on that 8th day, it is off the floor. They're like, "Hey, strike the menorah, put another Christmas tree up."
They have amazing trees. So before I talk about Hawaii, I want to talk about this one client that I have. So recently, a few months ago, I had a client reach out to me, wanting to book a vacation. And he wanted to go with his wife somewhere in February. And then I gave him some quotes and everything. Didn't hear anything back. He ghosted me.
Nick, he sounds morbidly obese. Is he morbidly obese? I don't know. Something.
I feel like he is. I can just kind of picture him.
Just give me I just have a feeling.
I mean, if I look at the screen right now, he would look like Scott. So we'll go with that. So he contacted me again the other day and he's like, "Hey, we finally have some dates set. We want to go to the Dominican in March." Sorry to this person for spoiling where you're going to be possibly in March. But so yeah, he's like, "I want to go to the Dominican." So I pull up some quotes. I sent them over to him. I said, "Here's some quotes for Punta Cana." And he calls me back and he's like, "We want a Dominican Republic. Punta Cana is in Mexico." And I tell this person, I'm like, "Scott." Oh, shit. Sorry. Alex, don't cut that. Don't cut that, please. I'm like, "Scott, I'm a travel agent. Like, I'm very aware of the destinations. I book this destination very frequently. I have a client there right now." So to this person, I told him, "Look at a map again and let me know if this is exactly where you want to go." But yeah, hopefully this person's going to be booking a trip soon. They've been talking to me for months now and wasting my time. And so yeah, so that was that.
Listen, MFer. So this your client, I'm good friends with him. I'm very familiar with him. And they did tell me that at first, for a split second, they were like, "I think Punta Cana's in Mexico," and then called you, but you didn't answer. You were stuffing your face with food. And so he did the Google machine and was like, "Oh crap, Punta Cana is in Dominican Republic." I don't know why he shared the story with you. He's regretting that to this day. But here we are. But yes, trust your travel agent.
I love my clients. Yes, this is why you should use a travel agent to make sure you're going to the right destination that you want to end up at. I want to make sure you're booking Australia instead of Austria. You never know where we're going to end up. So last week I was in Hawaii. I was there, as I said, on a work trip, which my husband still doesn't believe me. But I was there. One of my suppliers invited me to go on what they call a FAM trip. So it's a familiarization to check out different hotel properties around the area. And by a few, I mean, I feel like we checked out every single hotel in Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
So the very first day we get there, we had a luau the first night, which was a fun way to get to know everybody. So it was me and 14 women. So we started off with that.
Okay.
So for you guys, for the straight guys, sounds pretty cool.
Sounds like a night.
For the gay guy, I'm like, I can't flirt with anybody here. So
yeah, 14 wing women though.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. They're all actually really amazing, and we had a really fun group with us. But we had a very packed schedule, so I went with ALG Vacations, who I book a lot of my all inclusive resorts through, and trips to Europe and Hawaii for clients. So they invited me out there to visit Hawaii. We went the first day for 13 hours, checking out 9 different hotel properties in 13 hours.
Wow! Oh my god!
It was a very long day. So on these resort properties, we're going around to the rooms. The hotel is showing us the pools and all the amenities that are involved with it. A couple of hotels surprised us with a little happy hour, so we had some free cocktails. Enjoyed that type of stuff. One hotel, we had dinner up on the rooftop, watching the sunset at the Ritz-Carlton. And I'm not that fancy of a person like Scott. I don't have 7 bedrooms in my house and a maid and a butler and the gardener.
And permanent LED Christmas lights.
Well, five LED Christmas lights.
Semi-permanent.
So it was a cool experience for me to try out these properties that I probably would have never stayed at personally. And we're getting to that point in our life that we want to stay at nicer hotels than a Motel 6. And there was some really awesome hotels we visited. There was a Sheraton in Honolulu, which Sheraton brands in the States, I feel is very below value resort. We'll go with that. But there it was very deluxe feeling too. And it had really awesome, it was probably the best swimming pool we saw in Hawaii. So I want to talk about the second night that we were there. They wanted us to do some excursions so that we can try out different things in Hawaii to showcase what the Hawaii culture is all about.
The white culture?
We did Hawaii.
Oh.
Hawaii.
Scott's like, never fuck Punta Cana.
He's like, I'm there. I need to learn more about the waves.
Finally, we got White History Month.
My January 6th friends are there. So I noticed in Honolulu specifically, there was a huge Japanese culture there, and it's not something that I thought about ahead of time. Japan's only about a 5-6 hour flights from Hawaii.
So they
about
bombed
the same distance as
themselves.
it is for us. We were thinking the same thing. I'm so confused about that too. I'm like, are you paying tribute or support or I don't, yeah. So our organization I was with invited us to do a dinner cruise, a sunset dinner cruise. So we were thinking
Little Japan.
Yeah, with Little Japan. So we do this dinner cruise. I can't get over
this. Hold on. That would be like on 9/11 them taking down a mosque. Like what is going on?
Oh my god.
We lost Chris.
Oh.
I literally was thinking that though, but
okay.
I'm trying to be nice and supportive.
That's like Hitler going to a beauty pageant and taking out the contestants. Like, what is going on?
Oh my god. So anyways, we're told we're going on this dinner cruise, a sunset dinner cruise. We're thinking, oh, it's going to be a great night. We can go up and watch the sunset, get some great photos. We get to this cruise, and it's a 4-story tall boat. and we are a minority there. And by minority, I mean Americans.
Thoughts and prayers.
Really?
Yeah. So it was very full of Japanese people as well, too. And it was just a very awkward night. We got...
You don't like Japanese?
It wasn't the food. Well, it was the food.
No, I mean
too,
people.
The people. Yeah. I mean, you saw your typical people just loving to take their pictures, and I was up there trying to get pictures too. But the boat had these like windows on the side that like folded up, but they didn't put them up so you could watch the sunset and actually enjoy the sunset. So I was very upset and annoyed about that. So then comes the food. So it was a prefix menu. You had no choice basically in this. We didn't book it. Our company booked it. So they're like, okay, the appetizer buffet is up there. So go up and grab your appetizers.
Well, so what were the appetizers? Like bagel bites?
No. So the appetizer was a fruit tray and a cheese and cracker tray. And by crackers, I mean Ritz crackers. So we're like, what is going on? We get this salad that had this weird mustard dressing on it, and nobody liked it or ate it. So the next course comes out, and it has eyes, and it's looking at me. Oh. And it's an entire lobster. Oh. The entire boat full of lobsters. And I don't eat seafood, especially food that looks like seafood. And it was looking at me. So I named it Carlos. And
you befriended it.
Well, I had fun with it because I wasn't eating it. So I wanted to make sure it enjoyed a little bit and had some fun. So I took one of the flowers from the table and I put the flower next to his ear, and she was in drag. So. Oh my God. So yeah, just picture like all these people eating lobster that I'm pretty sure was undercooked because one girl the next day ended up getting food.
Oh my God. Where did they send you?
I don't know. And I don't know where they're cooking these because this is a tiny ass boat.
They weren't cooking them apparently.
Yeah. Just sent them out. So we get the next meal, and it's like some sort of meat steak thing that was edible. The last thing we get is a dessert that's like a mango pineapple pie type thing. And the best way to describe it that my rep from my supplier said, she said it tastes freezer burnt. So this experience was not the best. So
that's a shame, Nick, because you said you went there with 14 women. I felt bad for, but then when you went on the cruise and you said they served you crackers and fruit trays, I was getting pretty excited for you, and then I realized it was just food.
Yeah, I thought it was different. I thought it was white people in the gays.
Like, you hit the jackpot. Yeah.
So at the end of this, we get a kind of like a luau type show. So these dancers, performers came out. The storyline for the show was the most confusing thing. It was Mr. and Mrs. Aloha were on their honeymoon and they're on a 3-day voyage, and we're just like, what is going on? So each time a song changed, they're like, oh, they're in the next phase of their life. Like, I'm not following the storyline right now. So
were the performers Japanese?
No, they were Hawaiian.
That would have been pretty funny.
Yeah. It was special. So needless to say, they have us try these experiences so that we can understand what to recommend to our clients and what not to recommend. I'm not going to recommend this one to my clients, unfortunately.
I think I want to do it. This sounds pretty great, actually.
It was entertaining. But overall, it was an awesome trip. Like I said, we saw tons of properties. We went from Honolulu to Maui for 3 nights. We got a tour around Maui, and Maui especially I want to talk about because they did have the big wildfires last year.
Oh, that's right.
Unfortunately, we drove past some of the areas and saw the houses and buildings that were just demolished, unfortunately.
Wow.
And still people were living in some of the hotels.
Oh, wow.
FEMA's still there working on it, but I just want to get out and let everybody know in the public, Maui is just doing just fine. There's only one small portion of it that did unfortunately catch fire, but the entire island is open, very welcoming of everybody. They were so excited to have us there to show people that what we saw in the news with Maui is not what the reality is. It's open. It's beautiful.
Okay.
Everybody wants you to be there. So
Maui's just
checking out.
It's just somewhat cooked, like that lobster your friend
Medium rare.
And we had an awesome opportunity to do a give back program, which doesn't sound amazing on paper. We basically moved a bunch of rocks. But we went to this really awesome.
You did wait? They made you do labor? Like what?
We did labor.
Well, he was a minority. Yes.
But we got invited to go to this give back program where we went to this huge ranch place that had just a bunch of mountains that needed work, and we were in a wetland area, but it was completely dry, and it's been dry since like the 1940s. So they're building a fish pond now.
Real quick, Sarah, dry is something that doesn't contain alcohol or drugs.
Thought he was going somewhere else, honestly, but I still don't understand on any level. So,
but yeah, so it's been a dry land. They are building a fish pond, but they're using the old method ways that the Hawaiians used. They found some rock formation from the 1940s that they're following to make this fish pond, which is really cool to hear their stories and how they celebrate their culture and their history and everything. So I'm super obsessed with Maui, especially in Hawaii. So if you are interested in booking a vacation, please contact me, sandpipervacations.com. Make sure you mention that the No New Friends podcast sent you too.
Thank you so much, Nick.
That's all.
When we come back, we've got Jersey Man, Florida Man. Nick's going to learn a little bit about the loofahs in the village. And then Chris has a top 10 list or something for us. We'll see if we get to all of this. I don't know. We may move stuff to another episode. You're listening to the No New Friends podcast. We'll be right back.
hey, you want to join a cult? Well, this might be your lucky day. For just $2 a month and a simple blood oath, you can join our clubhouse and become a friend with benefits. In addition to the amazing feeling of donating to the poor, you will have access to Patreon exclusive content, live shows, and maybe even a behind-the-scenes look at my secret stash. To get started, head on over to nonewfriendspodcast.com and hit join our clubhouse. Can't wait to see you at the initiation ceremony. Oh, and in the chat during our live shows, of course.
Now it's time for the NNF Secret Word Contest. You have until Sunday, December 24th, 2023 to email us this secret word to nnfcontests@gmail.com. This week's secret word is empanada. So email the word empanada to nnfcontests@gmail.com. Good luck and enjoy the rest of the episode.
Hi, this is Jeremy Miller from Growing Pains, and you're watching the No New Friends podcast.
Welcome back to the No New Friends podcast. At some point, somewhere in the episode, is the secret word of the week. It's not really secret. There's Christmas music and all that, and it's just me going, oh, secret word of the week. Make sure you email that word to nnfcontests@gmail.com. You have 7 days from the release of this episode, and then the word goes away, and it's a new word next week. And you're going to be entered to win a chance. You're going to be entered for a chance to win a $250 Visa gift card. And if you're a Patreon member, you get additional entries depending on what tier you are every week.
Can I comment on this for a second, Scott? I need to help people out. Now, what's the email they have to send it to?
nnfcontests@gmail.com.
Leave it to a boomer. I bet you there's like a couple dozen people emailing No New Friend or NNF contest singular and not plural.
Well, that's why when I do the word, I go contests
because I got a message from someone saying they got a message.
Yeah, sophisticated gentleman emailed NNF contest and sent me, and I was like, it's contests.
You just really don't want to give away that gift card. Gonna make it as confusing as possible. Yeah.
Let's make it as hard as possible.
Well, just people not emailing is making it hard as possible to give away that $250 gift card.
They're sending it to the wrong place.
You guys ready for Jersey Man, Florida Man?
Always.
Yeah.
Whether flipping a fan boat or crashing a truck, these states are filled with people who suck. So it's time for us to play New Jersey Man versus Florida Man.
Every week, Game Master Ryan brings us two news stories. One is from Jersey, one is from Florida. It is up to us to determine which one is which. Take it away, Ryan.
Two other Power 5 teams that went undefeated, okay? Michigan and Washington. Well, Alabama
Where am I?
comes from out of nowhere.
Last thing I remember is Scott was talking football and I dozed off.
Won Georgia in the SEC.
Oh, God, he's still talking about it. Man, if only you cared about your friends as much as you care about football, you wouldn't be forgetting everybody's birthday. Anyways, hey guys, this is Ryan coming to you from the No New Friends newsroom located this week, still at Lewis and Sarah's. I did have a couple more people show up since last time we talked. Scott showed up, which is funny because normally he doesn't come to these more colorful neighborhoods, but he had to drop a check off to Lewis anyways for mowing his yard. Scott keeps on talking about how Christmas is superior to Hanukkah. Hopefully somebody gets him some new clothes for Christmas. He's currently dressing like a retired lesbian. Nick is here. He keeps talking about how much he got laid in Hawaii. Chris finally showed up. Emily didn't come with him because they got into a little bit of a fight when she made fun of Chris's Achilles injury. He ended up writing it down in his diary, or as I'm naming it, Diary of a Gimpy Kid. Chris, of course, got drunk. Now he's rambling on about who knows what.
I was riding a camel.
Chris, that wasn't a camel. That was Lewis and Sarah's dog. Pretty sure it was a chihuahua. And you almost crushed the poor thing to death.
I could sell this and get like $500.
Chris, put down Sarah's menorah. Jeez, Chris, I didn't realize you're such a lightweight. In some ways, that's less true more and more every day. Anyways, I need to get Chris out of here. I think he needs something to eat. He keeps on saying, I need a buffet. Whatever that means. I learned some new things about the Jewish traditions. Apparently for Hanukkah, they like to watch movies featuring pigs. Charlotte's Web and everybody's favorite Babe. That'll Jew, Sarah. That'll Jew. And apparently at Sarah's house, they only celebrate one night of Hanukkah. She's really sweeping the Jews under the rug. I guess you could do that with our ancestors. And Scott's old cat. Anyways, while I hold Chris's hair while he throws up in the bushes, let's get into this week's Florida Man or Jersey Man. And for our first story, a man steals $40 worth of chewing gum. And for our second story, a man shoots a woman with a water gun filled with his own urine.
Oh. Okay. Sarah, so you got gum thief and urine pistol.
Oh man. Usually I wait for Chris to answer because he seems to know his state better than I know mine. I'm gonna go the urine filled water gun. That's Florida.
Okay.
God, I hope it's not, but I think it's Florida.
Nick?
I was going to go urine with Jersey just because it's so close to New York City and that place smells like urine.
Yeah. Chris?
Yeah, we don't have to fill it with water guns. We just piss anywhere we want up here in Jersey. So I think that's Florida. The other one, stealing bubblegum, definitely New Jersey.
So I'm going to agree with Nick and Sarah. I think that, people in Jersey just piss wherever. So putting it in a water pistol and then using it to shoot people with it's on brand for Jersey. So I'm going water pistol, Jersey, gum, Florida. All right, let's find out the answers.
So our first story is from New Jersey, where a thief steals $40 worth of chewing gum from a bagel shop. Workers said he did it so quickly if you blinked you would have missed it, which is how Rachel describes Scott's lovemaking technique. So that means our second story is from Florida, where a 71-year-old man is behind bars after he shot a woman with a water gun containing his own urine, which is still more hygienic than New Jersey's drinking water. And in other news, a 37-year-old Brazilian woman who married a rag doll is hosting a gender reveal party for their second rag doll child. Well, at least one woman knows what it's like when your partner just lays there and doesn't do anything. That's it for me this week, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you so much, Ryan. All right. So before we get to Chris's list and that he wants to do, so we had this conversation in the NNF group chat, and Sarah knows what it is. I know what it is. Nick and I don't think Chris know what it is. But so we have this town in Florida. It's called the Villages.
Oh,
okay. And
heard of
the
those.
Villages is essentially Florida. It's the retirement community of Florida. There's a lot of old people. It leads the nation in STDs per capita because these are old people and they bone.
So proud.
They don't care. They bone.
Gotta kind of respect that.
So, yeah.
Right.
So, what we know about the Villages is it's full of roundabouts and golf carts. Now, on these golf carts, Nick, on their little antennas, they put loofahs. Okay? And depending on what color loofah you have, determines your sexual preference.
Oh.
Okay, and I'm not talking about gay or straight.
Yeah, how many are they,
type
Scott?
thing. This is there's quite a few. I'm on a page right now, and I've got white.
Is this on their website? Is this on the Villages web? Like,
yes, it says "Welcome to the Villages."
Oh my God.
Welcome.
It's like things to
welcome
know.
to the Villages Guide to loofahs.
It's like HOA.
Oh my God, it really is.
Yeah, no, it is. So white is novice and beginners. Okay. Purple is a voyeur and people who like to watch.
Oh.
Pink, soft swap. People who like to do it with others in the room. Blue, lowest level of full swap. Those who can play well with others. Yellow is mid-level swap for those who want to have fun but are still nervous. Black, full swap. Those who say what the hell and let it all go down. Teal, bisexual for those who want to increase their dating chances. And then I think like brown is I'll take it up the butt. There's, the whole.
It's pretty direct. Yeah.
Right. So that's.
But there's never just one.
No.
Oh,
they
really?
have multiples.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is like the basic guide, but I think there's a more extensive guide
Here.
because there's. Do you have another one up, Sarah?
No, I think I have the same one as you.
Yeah, Sarah just posted
I
in
just
chat.
posted it in the chat.
This is really advertised by the Villages, right?
Everybody knows this in Florida. And I was actually talking about this earlier today, and it was the golf cart was brought up, and I've actually seen them all the way up here in Daytona. And it's on their SUVs. They are just, it's a thing. And it's nasty because then you look at the person behind the wheel and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Well, because in the gay world, we have the hanky code, which I thought I've
What's
talked about.
the hanky code?
I thought I've talked about that one before.
Hanky, no.
On After Dark.
Maybe
A lot of people didn't listen to After Dark.
Yeah. So the hanky code, it was kind of geared back in the day when it was not publicly out to be gay. Essentially, you had to hide it. So literally, it's a handkerchief that you put in your back pocket. And it kind of means the same thing. There's different color handkerchiefs based on your sexual preferences, stuff like that, what you want to do. But it also depends what pocket you put it in.
Oh.
So if it's your left pocket, you're a top. So you more want to give. And then the right one is bottom, so you more want to receive stuff.
So this is kind of like in the 80s.
But there's a lot of colors.
Oh. In the 80s, if you had your right ear pierced, you were gay. Left was straight.
Yeah.
Right was gay.
Right was also if you passed the equator, which actually might have just been a slang term for gay. Now that I'm thinking of it.
So that is the Villages loofahs. And now
interesting.
You're educated. Yep. Chris, you have a list for us.
Speaking of sex, I do. So everybody knows that Spotify, I think they're the most well-known one. Spotify puts out a 2023 Wrapped list where they tell you your most popular artists that you've listened to that year, your albums, songs, et cetera, et cetera. Everyone's doing it now. Twitch did it.
It's annoying.
There's a lot, and everybody thinks that you care about what they're listening to and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Nobody cares.
Now, Alex cut this, but I did not share mine because my top one was Olivia Rodrigo. Was my top song list album listened to.
It could be like 3 songs from Coco, but that's just me.
So one that did catch my eye was Pornhub did a 2023 Wrapped of top searched and watched content on their website. So, let's see. So these are the trends that define 2023. I want you guys to really quickly take a guess. Now, remember, 2023, technologically advanced, what do you think? And we had wartime. I'm giving a couple hints. War times. We had the Gaza, Israel thing. We had the Russia-Ukraine thing. So, any guesses on what could have been a trend? That
Jewish porn.
Okay, not that specific.
Jewish porn.
But no. Okay, Nick, any guesses?
AI porn?
Okay, close. Sarah, any guesses?
I couldn't even. No.
All right. So coming in at number 5, sexual healing. Worldwide therapy searches were up 344% this year, including increases of 566% in Canada and 541 in Australia. Physical healing led the results, such as massage therapy, up 76%. So massage therapist and personal trainer all up this year. Number 4. This is the war stuff coming in at number 4, uniforms. Searches for uniforms grew 243%, led by military uniform, cop uniform, and man in uniform. So when you hear the
man uniform?
when you hear F the police, they mean it. They actually mean
go
it.
do it.
Yeah, that's like a blanket one right there. Man in uniform. It could be any uniform.
Like a guy like dressed up for work kind of thing.
Well, up 322%, Nick. Gay soldier was up 332% this year. Number.
What have you been watching?
Apparently, whatever Dane just posted in chat.
Coming in at 3, Nick. No,
if you'd like to see what Dane posted in chat, just join our Patreon, our Clubhouse. You can watch us record all of our episodes and be in the Discord chat with our other Clubhouse members.
Now, Nick was pretty close with his guess. Coming in at number 3, sex machines. And not the ones that you have sex with, but literal, like Android. Android. This is scary. The top trending search was Android. That grew 1,689%, including terms like Android cosplay and Android roleplay. Robot searches like sex robot and 3D robot grew 300%. Number 2.
Okay.
Coming in at number 2, Scott. Supersize. The terms big, bigger, and biggest grew by 177%. Searches for huge tits.
Fat people want love too.
Searches for, I actually thought it was fat people, but now I'm reading this and I quote, huge tits and huge cock and huge dildo grew by 67%. Even the word massive was up 91%, while big boobs expanded by 78% and big booty was 83%. The big tits category grew 31% and BBW gained 24%. That's big and beautiful and white or something, I think. Big
black
big
woman.
booty white woman. BBW. I don't know.
Bath and Body Works.
Yeah.
Bath and Body
Big
All right,
black woman.
coming in at number 1, the golden age, mature. Mature searches grew by 77%. Mature cougar was one of the top. MILF became the second most searched term worldwide, while DILF terms, including muscle DILF, grew 71%. Granny searches surged to 132% and GILF by 168%, with terms like
GILF?
sexy Grammy and hot GILF trending.
Oh my God.
That's why the Villages is the city capital. That makes total sense now.
A lot of gilfs there.
On Pornhub Gay, Daddy is the 5th most popular category, and Mature moved up on the list 6 spots this year. That's Pornhub Wrapped. Now, the most searched terms of 2023, hentai, which is, I think, anime porn. Very with the times. MILF, lesbian, Japanese, penne. Don't know what that is, but I'll be looking it up after this.
Penne pasta?
That's what my mind went right towards penne
That's
pasta.
where I went to.
Yes.
Yeah.
I watched that.
Can't really repeat a lot of these, but if you want to search these up, there you can head over to Pornhub.com and then check it out yourself.
And tell them about the No New Friends podcast sent you.
Thank you, Chris, for another riveting holiday list. This goes up there right with the top 10 drugs to do on the holidays.
This one, I enjoyed this one. Alex, I think I joked about death too much this episode. You ever just feel like a cleanse from No New Friends?
Oh, yeah, always. Every Wednesday after I get done editing the podcast, I need a cleanse.
Yeah, just like a little bit of family-friendly content, right?
Something wholesome.
You have a recommendation?
Our other podcast is his. The Disney History Podcast, I think, would be a great alternative.
Do I have to like Disney?
I mean, it helps.
All right. Well, because I love Disney.
Well, that's really good. That's a good start.
Where can I listen to this podcast that I record with you?
Well, our podcast comes out every Tuesday. But if you want, you can also go to our YouTube channel, Diz His Pod, and we have all of our past episodes up on there. We also on all social media under Diz His Pod. We do post every week, and we also have our own Patreon, just like No New Friends.
Really? I'm going to have to go check this podcast out that we do together.
Yes, I would love if you listen to our podcast once in a while.
Chris, what do you got coming up on Diz His this week?
This year we started to get into the festive spirit, and I do have to talk about this because it has to do with the sponsor of this segment, which is our friend Nick from Sandbar Vacations. He sent me a gift this week in the mail, which kick off the holiday season. And I opened the packaging, but the gift was not wrapped. And I thought that was a little odd, but then, when I got to thinking, and gays aren't used to wrapping things up. So I respect the move. I respect the move, Nick. If you want to book a vacation with Nick from Sandbar Vacations, I highly recommend it because he can tell you that, I don't know, common knowledge, like where Punta Cana may or may not be located. Get over to sandbarvacations.com, fill out a free quote, and tell them the No New Friends podcast sent you. That's what I do. I do it actually for fun. I do it like in the middle of the night. I go on and I request vacation quotes from Nick. Nick hates me, but I do. But I do it. This week on Diz His, we do the Festival of the Holidays at Epcot, and we have our festival expert Scott on this week, who has never been
to that festival.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah. So you can hear his insight on what he thinks it could be like. And my
if you had one.
and my insight on what it was like when I went one time. It's a really it was a fun episode. I really enjoyed recording with Scott. It's always a fun time when he comes on.
Nick,
the podcast.
What the podcast?
The podcast.
Well, you can connect with Diz His Pod on all social media. It's a really great podcast, and like they say in the ad, if you need to cleanse yourself from the obscurities that you hear here, I would definitely go over to Diz His. We also have some other great podcasts to tell you about. Don't Wreck Yourself, where Ryan takes on the internet's BS and they debunk it, or they say it's real, or they say it's not real. It's a great show. Black Lincoln Collective podcast, very random, very funny. Those guys are great. We love those guys. We also have Ashes to Awesome, where Chuck LaFlange takes us on his journey from addiction and into recovery, and then talks to some other leading experts. He's doing so much great work in Thailand. And then Cases of Continuity with the Sophisticated Gentleman. He's almost done with the Bond series. He's still balls deep, but he's about to wrap it up and pull out of the Bond series and lay it down with another series. So we're super excited for him. He's doing a great job over there. And then you can listen to me with the Sophisticated Gentleman and Dane, Creators United, every couple weeks, where we interview just different podcasters in our little core group, and it's a super fun time that we have. Chris, what podcast would you like to tell us about?
I would like to talk about the Studio 21 baseball podcast with Big Country and C Money, who are probably going to be talking about that $700 million contract that Shohei Ohtani just signed in LA. I'll tell you what.
Insane
I'll tell you what, my
contract.
daughter's going to be the first woman to play in the MLB. I'm going to be training her when she comes out of the womb. The second podcast I have is Remy's Roundtable, the Florida theme park podcast, which someone on this podcast might be hosting next week. You're going to have to tune in and find out. Lastly, is a YouTube channel, Big Beautiful Diz. Scott and I were just talking about this. He went on a Big Beautiful binge the other night, which I do a lot. And you should go on a Big Beautiful binge yourself and check him out on YouTube if you like all things Disney.
Nick, what podcast would you like to tell us about?
Go over to a Nola Papa podcast called Unscripted with my friend Eric. He actually just had a huge announcement yesterday that they just hit 50,000 downloads.
Wow.
For their podcast. So
nice.
Big congrats to him. It's a newer podcast right now, and he's actually taking a break for the holidays, but coming back after the new year, and I should be on pretty soon too.
Very cool. And Sarah, what's coming up on Nerd Archive podcast?
They actually just ended their season. So they were talking about the video game awards and the E3 convention that I guess has been canceled now after almost 30 years. So they talked a little bit about that and excited for next season.
Okay. You can also connect with Lewis, TR Factory TV on TikTok. That channel's blowing up. please help support him. He does some funny stuff. Funny stuff. Chris, do you have any Cliff Notes?
I do.
It's been quite the show. A lot of stuff's happened, so nothing can stop this little boy from recapping the day the Chris's Cliff's Notes way.
In the beginning of the show, Scott talked about he got lights installed on the front of his house. Now, he did this because he had the darkest house on the street. The HOA complained that the burning cross wasn't enough light, so he had to add a little bit more. Speaking of the holidays, we talked about buying gifts, and Scott informed us that he got his shopping finished already. I was super shocked by this because his Christmas isn't until January 6th. That was pretty early.
Wow. I don't know what it is. I love January 6th jokes. I can't get over that. It's so funny.
I need off the shop. You just steal it.
Scott talked to his daughter the other day, and she told him that she knew about Santa. When he asked her how she knew, she said, when you reminded me to put out Bud Light and Marlboro Lights for Santa, I kind of put two and two together.
It's one extra day a year that Santa can drink.
That may have been your best joke, Chris. That was really funny.
I rewrote that like 3 times. I'm glad I stuck at that one.
That was really funny.
Throughout the episode, Nick kept saying, I'm back. And that's funny because when we ran train last weekend, I was actually at the back. Sarah talked about how she was a victim of circumstance. Last time I heard that, I was in a toxic love triangle with an overweight radio personality and an egotistical maniac. And those times were pretty scary. Please clap. Nick talked about how Scott didn't want to visit Mexico. When he asked Scott why he didn't want to, he replied by saying, and I quote, if I wanted to visit Mexico, I would just stay home when my lawn service comes to my house, end quote.
They have a no smoking law. I can't smoke on my patio. That's why I'm not going to Mexico. I love it there. The people are beautiful.
Nick was really excited about learning about the culture of the people in Hawaii. I used to love learning about people's culture until I asked Scott about his, and he sat down and started calling me boy. And lastly, Sarah talked about how she was having some car troubles. If you didn't listen to this segment, she got her car towed for a bad sticker. She told the tow truck guy that her sticker was good and showed him. He told her, I'm sorry, but it was hard to see behind all the loofahs you have on the dashboard. And those are my Cliff Notes.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you so much, Chris.
It's been quite the show. A lot of stuff's happened, so nothing can stop this little boy from recapping the day the Chris's Cliff's Notes way.
If you'd like to connect with us, all of our social media links are right there on our website, nonewfriendspodcast.com. You're also going to want to check us out on Twitch. We do NNF Reacts every single week or every other week or just when we want, but once a week, I guess. And that's www.twitch.tv/NNF podcast. We'll just go to our website. The link's there. Also, check out our really cool, sweet merchandise. Become a Clubhouse member, a friend with benefits for as low as $2 a month. You can watch us record all these things live and have exclusive access to member benefits. All right. On behalf of this sophisticated gentleman, our Lord and Savior Remy, Abby, Game Master Ryan, our producer Alex, Nick, Sarah, Chris, I'm Scott. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. And I don't want to hear any of you motherfuckers saying that I forgot their birthday again.
Daddy's angry.
Ooh.